feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away.
All right. Really heartbreaking story coming out of Nigeria today. Boxing superstar Anthony Joshua was involved in a car accident that proved to be fatal for two of his friends. And from what the information has came out to now be, apparently the two people that lost their lives were people who worked with him. Some are saying it's promoters. I've heard one's his strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, so he's lost two people. It says one is his longtime strength and conditioning coach, Gami. And the other person, let me see, not too sure who the other person was. We'll actually probably get their name as we kind of Google this stuff. But it was a very tragic but graphic scene. I was shocked to see this news when I watched the video. And here is the video of him being removed from the vehicle. It looks like he's in pain. If you don't know, he recently just fought Jake Paul on Netflix, and he defeated Jake Paul, I believe, by TKO. Now, this was supposedly, fortunately, of the two individuals that passed away. And, it felt like a spectacle. Everyone's just filming, no one trying to, either clear the way or establish a perimeter that maybe the ambulance could get there. From what I saw of those videos, his two friends were, if these videos are real, obviously I wouldn't put those videos out, but the videos that I saw were them deceased on the road, and looked like one of their heads may have been severed or something of the sort. So, again, it very gruesome. I think he's lucky to be alive. Obviously, it's a traumatic experience, especially when I think this was a celebratory trip. He is Nigerian, from what I understand. Anthony Joshua, I believe he is a Nigerian. Let me see. He's from the UK, but I believe he's Nigerian in terms of family descent, right? Is he Nigerian? Yeah, I believe he is Nigerian, right? Let's see. Yes, he was born in England to Nigerian parents, and he's deeply connected to his Yoruba heritage, okay? So that's why he was there, obviously he has family there, and kind of gruesome. I've seen people try to recreate and, not recreate, but like try to diagram what most likely happened here. Give me 1 second. And this is what they're saying probably happened. It said this diagram was released to explain how the accident happened. As you can see, the two Anthony Joshua friend, Lats and Cena, sat at the part that collided with the truck. So apparently, if you look at the vehicle, Anthony Joshua was behind the driver. And what's being said is, it wasn't. It's a head-on collision, but it wasn't. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, because the head-on collision would be two cars that hit. There was a parked truck on the side of the road, right? So this truck was parked, and it was on the side of the road. And, I don't know if it was early morning. I don't know what the circumstances was, but the driver is driving, and the driver hits the truck, and apparently the driver had swerved. Obviously the driver's going to swerve, and he still hits the truck, but the part that's impacted is this part here where Anthony Joshua's friends were on, and they got the brunt of, obviously, the injuries. I'm wondering now if that video I saw is real, or maybe it is, because I saw two individuals ejected from the vehicle, or maybe that's after they got removed. I don't know. we're still kind of struggling to get some official notifications on what happened here. Yeah, there were a passenger in a Lexus SUV. They call it a Lexus Jeep. Circumstances are being investigated. They slammed into stationary trucks. They indicated that the Jeep was suspected of traveling beyond the legally prescribed speed limit, and it lost control during an overtaking maneuver and crashed into the truck. Oh, wow. Wow. So this is the Federal Road Safety Corps said the Lexus slammed into the truck, and preliminary findings indicate that the Jeep, which was suspected to be traveling at a high rate of speed on the corridor, was trying to go around a vehicle, and maybe while going around the vehicle lost control and slammed into, the right side slams into the back of the truck, and that's where those two guys lost their life. So he was seated in the rear of the vehicle, but he sustained minor injuries. They're talking about Anthony Joshua. Tragically, the other vehicles in the vehicle the other passengers in the vehicles lost their lives. And here are the names of the deceased friends: Kevin Latif Ayodele and Sina Gami. Wow. Give me 1 second. I did see a video. There was a video I saw of kind of, like minutes before their death. The one of the guys who passed away recorded this video. By the way, we don't have an update on the condition of the driver. So the driver and Joshua, who were sitting in a straight line, I would imagine the driver survived. We haven't heard about a third death, but it was 4 people in the car. The 2 guys on the right side died. So this is his best friend a few hours before he died.
Show you the streets of Nigeria.
Looked like they may have just got to Nigeria then, right?
Olosina.
Yes, you hear him say Sinna. Now, this is ultimately the vehicle that took his life. And, as God would have it, he's filming these moments of leaving, I guess, the airport, and films even the vehicle that's kind of slated to pick him up. So this is the driver, I would imagine, right? This would be the driver. I see. And then he even posted a video while on the road before, right? So he posts this video. And it looked like this is ultimately probably just minutes or seconds before he died. These are other videos, I guess. Or maybe that was their driver for the whole trip, and maybe they did get to their location. I don't know when this accident happened. I don't know if it's right when they got there from the airport, or maybe that's the car and the driver, but not at that moment. So they may have went to this place. I don't know where this place is. And then maybe they were going to somewhere else, and then it happened. That was an absolute mistake. It was a gruesome scene, chat. I wish like that didn't have a sensitivity warning on it. It should. It's on Instagram without a sensitivity warning. What the fuck? I apologize again. I apologize. As with that, there's been a bunch of just incorrect information going around. I think we should all wait for official sources to kind of give us a debrief of what happened. As well, I think a post did go out via one of my pages that was absolutely incorrect, and I believe it was taken down. I wasn't even aware at the time when it went up, but it was taken down as quickly as it was realized that the information wasn't correct. But yeah, it's just a very sad situation, and I can't even imagine what he's going through, and you know, there's something in life where a lot of times you go through extreme highs, and for me specifically, I always feel like when you go through some of the best moments in your life, sometimes the worst are kind of right around the corner. And like there's always this eerie feeling if I'm ever having like a lot of success, I'm like, all right, something bad's about to happen. What's gonna bad, And maybe you shouldn't think like that, but it's kind of interesting how this celebratory trip has now turned into a very sad morning. All right. Okay. Somebody said, I know this isn't topic, but I love your streams. Your mom just passed away. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah, I don't want to get too somber on y'all with that, but I saw this earlier. I will say I was very surprised and shocked that so many people sat around filming the dead bodies. So many people were so close and crowded in the area while they were pulling, Anthony out of the car. I don't know. It felt like it's the modern era we live in where people care more about filming and being close to celebrity than care about human life, which was a little bit sad. But yeah. Somebody said it's 7 a.m. right now in Nigeria. This is the next day after the crash. Yeah. My prayers are with their families. Clearly, they were families their damn self in terms of how they were moving and operating. It was, from my understanding of their relationship, it was more than just a coach. It was a brotherhood. They were friends. They enjoyed many moments and traveled together many times. And this was, I'm wondering if the driver will possibly face criminal charges. Because if your reckless driving ends up costing someone's life, how is that looked at and treated? If I've never been to Nigeria, but I do know a lot of places not the United States. Not saying it's because it's not the United States it's happened, but sometimes, like, I've gone to other countries, and sometimes if it's like narrow roads, overtaking another car becomes a little bit of it's a really like, whew, you got to get in and get out. Some of these cars, I don't even know how well they're maintained. I know it's a Lexus, but trust me, a Lexus in America and a Lexus elsewhere. If it swerved or whatever, how fast was he going? Right? Like, if this is a chauffeured vehicle, like if you ever get in a lift and a nigga start going 90, that's not, I never seen that. But sometimes you do see them kind of like put pedal to the metal a little bit. So I'm wondering, how fast were they going? Was the driver under the influence of anything? We haven't heard much about the driver. I'll Google, out of sensitivity, I'm going to Google and preview any video before I put it back on the screen. Again, I want to apologize for that last one. I didn't think they're going to have a still shot in there. Okay, this is... Okay. Wow. Is this safe to put up? And I keep wondering how they got ejected like that. I guess they didn't get ejected. I guess the stationary truck ripped it apart. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, so I know some people are asking about seat belts. Look like it got ripped apart, but it kind of does look like the seat is still there. Maybe they weren't ejected. Maybe they just got injured and then they got removed out the vehicle. I think I'm good to put this up. I'm just double checking again, chat. I'm really double checking. Okay, cool. Once again, I'm sorry for that. Okay. So the footage of Anthony Joshua crash is absolutely horrifying. The Lexus carrying AJ collided with a stationary truck, and the impact side took the brunt of the crash. He was sitting behind the driver, and the driver miraculously survived. So the driver did survive, y'all. But he lost two of his closest friends, Latz and Cinna. They lost their lives. It's seen as his strength and conditioning coach, and he just prepped him for Jake Paul fights 2 weeks ago. And Latz's personal trainer was there to support him as always. Seeing the aftermath with their lifeless body on the impact side, while AJ and the driver were rescued, is gut-wrenching. Oh, so they were dead in the car. Okay. Because the video that I did see, they're on the ground. Okay. Fans across Nigeria and the boxing world are shaken, and the emotional toll is unimaginable. Give me a second. I got to look again to make sure there's not a corpse in this car. This accident is a harsh reminder of how fragile life could be, and in a split second, everything could change. AJ survives, but losing two people so close to him is a tragic way of dealing. It leaves a wound. Okay. All right, chat. I'm going to watch it. I want to play this video, but I want to watch it again. I got to make sure there's absolutely no possibility of y'all seeing a corpse. Yeah. I'll just show the picture of the car. Let me make sure there's nothing there. Okay. Yeah, I can show that. Let's just look at this. Yeah. So this is it right there. So he's gonna need therapy. He's definitely gonna need some therapy. Unfortunately, I think his experience even in vehicles will forever be changed. I was wondering how this crash happened because he doesn't even look like he's bleeding. You know, obviously there's probably some shock and impact shock that he would definitely receive, but wow. What the hell was the driver doing? Does anyone know the time of the crash? Was it like some, maybe did he fall asleep at the wheel? Well, they're saying it was overtaken, so maybe not, but the car just lost control. What was the conditions? I mean, it looks kind of sunny out there, right? This doesn't look like... Doesn't look like bad conditions. Was the road poor? You know, sometimes you go to other countries. Again, not trying to put anything on what do you call it again? Nigeria, but sometimes you'll have certain parts of the road that doesn't get fixed as quickly as maybe in the United States. I don't know. I don't want to make it a country thing, but horrific accident, man. Horrific accidents. I'm also trying to think about the build of the car. You know, these days cars are like paper thin. Like you could just mildly punch a car and there's a dent. Like, and you got to start wondering, right? Like you mildly punch a car. If you mildly go like this against your fucking Altima, like there's a fist print now in your Altima. Like it's probably harder to punch through drywall or to really dent drywall with your fist than to dent a car with your fist. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like one of the places where there's actually metal. I'm talking about like if you punch the hood or like the side where the door is. Like you could just punch it like that and you'll probably leave like a mark. So you kind of start to realize like, yo, if this shit is a 3,000 pound or a 3-ton speeding bullet going 90 miles down the highway and you hit something, how much impact could the car absorb before you are potentially hurt? And the answer is pretty much little to none. It's little to none. Somebody says a dirt road. Not this don't look like a dirt road. You can see markings on the road right here underneath this car. Yes, his seating arrangement. Hey, let me tell you this. You know when you get in the lift, the seat that the person who is the chauffeur or chauffee is that the person being chauffeured. You usually get in the seat not behind the driver, but that one. So behind the driver to the right. That's the seat you get in. Why? Usually there isn't someone in the front seat, and that seat could go all the way up, and it gives you more space. That's the chauffeured spot. Obviously, he's with two of his men. They're kind of bigger built. They're all, really good in shape. That, they're not all sitting in the back. One's sitting up front with the driver. And still, that's still a spot for where Joshua should have been. Joshua missed being in the spot. Like, that's the spot you would think he would be in. And I'm going to be honest with you, the amount of survivor's remorse that he's going to go through, because whatever that conversation was to get in that car, I'm pretty sure from now on, he it's going to be a tough time getting in vehicles, period, but he's going to always think about that decision of maybe he was just the first one that got in the car and his man's got in after and say, yo, move over. That simple conversation may have saved his life. He got in the car first. His man is loading in some stuff into the trunk or whatever. Then his man's happened to open that door where he's at and says, move over. And he just moves over. All right, I'm over here now by the driver. And that's the simple only reason why he's alive. That will fuck with you. That will stay in your mind. That will stay in your mind. By the way, this thing is bothering me that thing accidentally came up. Yo, Drill, are you here? Also, unfortunately, by the way, for my editors on Spotify, that needs to be removed. That accidental showing needs to be removed from that clip before it's uploaded to Spotify and iTunes. Drill, I've hit you directly before any clip. Either don't clip this at all, or if you're gonna clip this, I need to make sure that there's not a corpse shown. Okay. All right, Drill's responding to me. But for anybody who edits for me, please make sure that is removed. Lazarus, you in here, nigga? And I will say this: if I can't remove this from the VOD afterwards, this VOD will be deleted. Just letting you know. And it's number one, out of respect and sensitivity for not only him and his family, but also for you guys. I'm not here to show y'all gory images. I think the furthest we come to teeter that line is like the UPS video. Like, everything was blurred out. Clearly, we know the implications of it, but I'm not here to show you guys blood and decapitated bodies. No. Okay? All right. Yeah, no. We're obviously going to take that out. I just got to make sure. And by the way, and Gran, just make sure any other people who use our content do not use that. All right. Wow. It was very shocking. Like, him sitting in the car like that, like with his hands right here. By the way, I was also wondering, because he has his shirt off. Maybe he was just coming from the beach or the pool or something. Or maybe he was training. I don't know. Like, I was also a little bit shocked that he had his shirt off. But then, number one, it's probably hot in Nigeria. Like, let me see what temperature it is. What temperature is it in Nigeria? 74. Okay, ain't that hot. But I think it's the morning time right now. Oh, it gets up to 93 today. So today in Nigeria, it's in the morning, it's 74. It's going to get to 93. So it get quite. Why is this thing still on here? My bad. I went to the tab that I fucking closed out. All right, chat. I'm going to just move on from this topic, bro. Like, next topic. My sincere apologies. I'll just say lastly, life is fragile. Clearly, we'll all one day go. Doesn't make the situation less tragic because of that fact. Um, and we definitely have to think about. You wouldn't want your last moments to be caught on camera. We'd never know the time of the day, but you also don't want a bunch of people looking at you like a spectacle, and also your family finding out through social media about your demise. So, God rest these guys' souls, and we are at least. It's a bittersweet moment. At least Anthony Joshua did survive. Rest in peace. Okay, let me just clear out all my tabs. Okay, close all tabs to the right. Okay. By the way, again, drill. It was actually shown twice. So either edit it or just scrap that clip. Like, who cares about a clip? Scrap it. All right, let's go. We're going to trying to get up from the somber mood here. Try to get up from this somber mood. What